Decentering men also means don't disappear when you get a boyfriend. There's so much to the decentering men journey, right? I don't know if they will ever be fully decentered, honestly. It's like a couple decades of indoctrination and continual indoctrination while also trying to unlearn the things that are like thrown at me every day in the media and by society. So it's like, there's so many levels to this. It means decentering, talking about men all the time. And I know I talk about men a lot, but I'll talk about how to get away from them. Which is why I also try to balance out content that has nothing to do with them and about, centering ourselves. That also means as soon as you get a boyfriend, you don't disappear. Or every time you meet up with your girlfriends, you talk about something other than men. You can talk about your boyfriend or your relationship problems or whatever, but if that's literally all you talk about, you got a lot more work to do, as we all do. What made me think of this was this tweet I saw today. I told a friend that I don't want to speak about marriage and children every single time we hang out. She spiraled and I haven't heard from her since then. That was December 28th, 2023. Okay, so that's over a year, like way over a year. And then one of my mutuals, I'm going to tag her, added the amount of women friendships I've lost when I communicated that I no longer want to spend the majority of our time together talking about it. Men. It's alarming how many women friendships are built solely on the foundation of our dating life. And I mean, that is so true. And then it continues. If you don't decenter men, this is what it's going to look like once you get married. First of all, if you don't really work hard to decenter men, you're going to find a piece of crap boyfriend who you will marry, and then he's just gonna like make you hate your life. Because what happens is if all you talk about when you're not married with your single friends is men, dating, he did this, oh, I like that, da. I mean, I'm not saying you never talk about that, because honestly, I would have made more mistakes in dating if I had not been informed by my friends about like dating stuff. You know what I'm saying. But if you don't decenter men, then you get married, and all women talk about is how much their husbands suck. And that is like, it's just a continuation of the same thing. Women bond over their oppression under the marriage with these men. You see it all the time. I mean, videos go viral because a woman's like, my husband sucks so much. And sometimes she literally doesn't even realize how much it sucks. And the thing is, it happens on the internet, is that when you say that in your little group of married women who are all miserably married to piece of crap husbands too, then that you feel validated, and like it's like you commiserate in your your oppression, really, your exploitation, blah blah blah. What happens on the internet is that you go there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get the support, and then women are like, leave him, get out, and they're like, wait, and so they're in a little bit of a rude awakening, because it's not just other miserable married women on the internet. It is happily married women, it is single women, it's divorced women, it's widowed women, it's women who have been on their celibacy journey, and they're adding the conversation, especially the divorced women and women who've escaped relationships with men that selfish, and they're like, this doesn't end well for you. And then those women either delete those videos, or they double down, and then they make a follow-up video being like, I mean, really, he's great, we were kidding, blah blah blah. So best case scenario, they're getting rage clicks and making money off of our lived trauma, but worst case scenario, they're in the thick of bonding with women over how much men suck and treat them terribly. And maybe they will eventually get out, but most women don't. They just, because it's so normalized to commiserate over our own exploitation. And so those of us who are really, really thick in the decentering men journey are like, nope, don't normalize that. Just because that is normal does not mean it's okay, right? So then there's also, there's so many levels to this, right? There is the decentering your in-laws. And I hope I remember to tag her. One of my mutuals talks about this, has made so many videos on her decentering men within her marriage, and by proxy decentering the in-laws, because his in-law, not making sure he's connected to his in-laws. That's his job, right? Those are his parents, not yours. You just married into it. Not always getting preferential treatment to his parents and their Christmas and their whatever over your own. Not letting the mother-in-law be little queen bee and rule your life. like make him stand up to her. You shouldn't have to, all that stuff, right? And then just 2 days ago, one of my single women friends who's my age, and her and I are just, we're like this, right? And, we used to go out like dancing all night, whatever. And even after I got married, she was the one, as soon as she met Anthony, she met him like immediately and was like, that's your boyfriend. I was like, what? She's like, no, you are exactly the same around him. You are just as silly and weird and goofy, and like you literally do not police yourself the way I've seen you police yourself around other men. Like you are, and like she was like, this is, and I kind of knew that, but so she's always been very supportive of me and us, and she loves Anthony, and she's been single this whole time, and she has single friends, right? And they're all part of a, like a girls kind of group that goes out and stuff. And I join them sometimes, but not all the time, because a lot of times they're talking about men. And they're all in relationships now. And she sees me more than any of them. They literally disappeared. And I was so angry for her. Because like I'm working on this right now. I literally have someone helping me figure out how to work less and still be able to pay my bills, because I work way too much making content and stuff like that. And so I barely have a social life, because I have help now. I have some moderators who are helping me, and I so appreciate that. And Anthony helps me, but I need my time back. So I have so little, I have such a small social life, because this work consumes me. And I also have a tendency to, devalue my time when it comes to work, Anyway, that's another conversation. So I'm working really hard to create boundaries around work and actually spend time. But for a while, like I saw friends maybe once every 2 weeks. Like it's hard when you love what you do to put boundaries around it. And also when you don't make much money doing it, you like, I gotta work. I can't go out because I could lose money. Like it's so, whatever. This stuff does not pay what y'all think it does. Maybe you don't, maybe you don't. Anyway, and so even me, who has been like sick a lot, that flu thing or whatever that was, took me out for several weeks, and it wasn't COVID. And I took the test several times. Maybe it was, and they just whatever. Sick, overworked. She has seen me way more times than she hasn't seen any of them. They literally just disappeared. And I was so mad about that, because that's happened to me so many times in my life. And I think I learned early on that, okay, sure, I talk about dudes sometimes, and I talk about the drama with dudes and how to like heal from these dudes and whatever. But I have always known that my female friendships are the foundation of my life. Married, single, like divorced, whatever, my widowed, whatever my relationship status will ever be, right? Even when I'm 95, if I live that long, I will still always need women in my life. I lose myself. I don't know who I am without my female friends. I really don't. I am lost. And I've learned that so many times in my life the hard way, from, like when I was traveled and on couch surfing all over South America, and I was working on strawberry farms, and I was climbing, and I was doing all this stuff. I didn't have much interaction with women. It was mostly men, and I was so lost until I found my BFF, and then I was set. I was like, oh, I found myself. Like when I was a ski instructor and a whitewater raft guide in Jackson Hole, which is like a 10-to-1 ratio of men to women. Same thing there. I literally took a piece of paper out to the bar. This is before, we really had cell phones. That dates me, y'all. And I was like, if I met someone cool, I was like, what's your number? This is before, it was a cell phone, but it was like a dumb one. It wasn't like, hey, let's be friends on Facebook or whatever. It was literally, what's your phone number? My phone's in my car. I will call you. Let's hang out. Like I literally, I wrote women's, like, can we hang out? You're so cool. I still do that, especially as an immigrant. It's so hard to make friends in another country. It's hard to make friends as an adult in general. Are you interested in this now? Look at you and your little Kong. But whenever I meet someone cool, I take that chance and I'm like, you're really cool. Do you want to do this again? Like I'm used to putting myself out there. And that's because I know without women, I would be done. I would not be able to show up in my life for anyone if I don't have women. I was raised by a single mom. I have an older sister. Even our dog, Fifi Miri Hamlet, was a female. Not only have I always had women in my life, talking about men has never been the number one thing that bonds me with them. So not only is it important, has it always been important? Again, for those of you new here, I got married at 42. I was mostly single, didn't hardly even date until like my late-ish 30s. Oh my God, look at him. So part of decentering men meant I needed to maintain my friendships with women, but especially women who are on this decentering men journey, because I promise you, if you're hanging out with women who only talk about men, those are the very women who are going to disappear into relationships. Disappear. Literally, it's like they die, right? And I actually had to have that conversation I had the other night with one of my besties who sees me, a woman who almost never gets a day off or lets herself have a day off. I should reframe that. It's like, and you know, I have commitments with my in-laws who I love. You know, like I'm just not as available. I still make more time than her single friends who now have boyfriends. And so, you know, I was telling her, like, you really, like, I hope that you invest more in friendships with women who don't talk about men so much and who don't do this, because, like, this is just, that's what they're just going to keep doing it. And it hurts. It's like, it feels like a loss. It feels like a death when you're close friends with someone and they just disappear. And I think it's because I grew up in the South. White girl in the South, I learned real early on that, like, we're supposed to, you know, worship the man and default to him, and he is the son, and even though I was raised in a home with a single mom who I did not watch do that, right? Thank God I would not be who I am if that wasn't for her. Seriously, I would not. I would probably have been married 15 years ago to the biggest piece of crap ever. I'd probably even have children, even though I don't like them. I like my nieces and my nephew. I like the children of my friend, but in general, like, I don't want a parent. It's not that I don't like children. Okay, I've had to really face my my stuff towards children was really based in my own, like, hatred of my child self. So anyway, and also the pressure to have kids when I didn't want them. But I probably would have kids. I'd probably have kids I didn't want, that I resented, and be married to a piece of crap if I had not had one example, the main example in my life, my mother, who was not centering men in our household. Despite what other people were doing, despite the movies I watched, despite the very, very hard conditioning in, you know, like in the South, which is very, like, tied up to the patriarchy, white supremacy culture, capitalism, purity culture, and the church, and all that crap, which is obsessed with women being pure and you know, young. I don't know. So luckily, I learned early on that, wow, women can have their own lives that have nothing to do with men. Nothing. And I was raised with a lot of other single women by proxy, right? My mom had a lot of stuff. But guess what? Some of those women, as soon as they got married, boom, gone, disappeared. And I had enough experiences, you know, in my youth, like how women disappear into relationships, even in, like, high school. And I was like, this sucks. I don't ever want to make a woman feel the way I feel right now. So I became really committed to always making, you know, like, really prioritizing my female friendship. And I didn't date for most of my adult life, so I was never even put in a position where I'd, like, you know, blow them off. But I'm so afraid of being a woman who blows off her female friend as soon as I get a man. But sometimes I, like, overcompensate. Like sometimes I'm like, oh wait, no, actually, like, you know, I do have some balance here. But you're still always decentering men. You're decentering the male gaze, you know, that tells me how to look, what my body should look like. And as a cool girl, you know, recovering cool girl from the outdoor industry and the comedy world and the film industry and all these bro worlds, I sure did have to learn how to, like, oh my God, I'm literally just, blah, right? And then when I started dating, as much experience as I had decentering men, once I started dating, I was like, oh, right. Like, just because I'm available doesn't mean I'm available. Just because he's available now doesn't mean I'm like, okay, right? Defaulting to men is centering men. Defaulting to men at work. That's why I stopped following so many dudes on, like, you know, TikTok and stuff, is because I was like, oh my God, why am I listening? These dudes are literally repeating back to me what I say and my mutuals say. Like, they're not saying anything new. Why do I trust them more then myself and my mutuals, like they're literally, most of them are just like stealing what we say anyway, right? Like it is literally in like it's in everything, y'all. And one of the things I noticed is that, and I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to play a clip here really quick before I get into this. I was on this podcast. I'm going to put the link in the caption. I love her. This was a really fun podcast to do. And also, I'm actually going to start doing, once I have like a tier and like, you know, Substack and Patreon and stuff, and memberships on YouTube, I'm going to start interviewing people and having people on because I love talking to people, and I want to collaborate more. And I, you know, have a journalism background. That's like my thing. So anyway, look for that soon. But let me just show you this little clip because I want to talk about this.
It's really easy for me to decenter men when I was single.
Sure.
But the journey does not stop. Like once I'm in a marriage, like I'm so conditioned to do this shit that it pops up and I'm like, what? It's like whack-a-mole. Yeah. I'm like, there it is. There it is, you know? Codependency, it's in my fucking bones at this point, man. You can't, I would need an exorcism to literally get this shit out of me. So I have to learn through example and also being like, wait. And it helps that because my husband knows my story so well and he knows me so well, he literally is that little like cheerleader who every once in a while will be like, when he can catch that I'm doing it, whether it's with him or someone else, he'll be like, center yourself, babe. Center yourself. What do you need? What do you want? Forget me, forget, you know, your mom, or forget whatever.
So just so in case anyone is like not clear, Anthony and I are both deconstructing patriarchy, right? And are working very hard at it. And it does pop up. And I catch it in myself constantly. For instance, let me give an example. It is so, even though I literally was never in a long-term relationship, like over a year. So it's not in me to default to a man. It's still in me, right? In terms of sleep. You know, I have realized a while ago, because we both have sleep disorders. He has a sleep apnea, which he got a machine for and did all that stuff for. And if your husband or boyfriend is not doing that, then you need to talk to him because he's literally taking years off of your life. So yeah, Anthony got that fixed right away. Sleeps much better now. So he has sleep apnea. I have narcolepsy. And I've been doing it for most of my adult life. You know, I don't like to get up super early. I'm not like one of those people because I'm like a night owl. But I don't like to sleep late, which is a little bit of a conundrum. But I as a freelancer, I make my own hours, so I like to always be up by 8 or 9. And then I started, especially like on the weekends, he likes to sleep in. His last job, he had to get up at like 5 a.m, so he loved to sleep in. Guess what I started doing right away? Sleep in. Right? When we were dating, I was like, I just sit there in bed just waiting for him. I'm like, oh, just wake up, right? And then I was like, uh-oh, I'm centering his sleep. So I was like, okay, I am getting angry at him. I'm getting angry at myself because I know he's going to sleep late and then I don't like it. Anyway, so I was like, what do I want to do right now? I'm going to go to the gym. So I got up, went to the gym, worked out, came back, and he was still asleep. Because again, this was back when he was working a job where he barely got sleep. So he really needed that sleep on the weekend. And I was just for for a couple weekends, I just went along with it. I was like, I don't want to be rude and whatever. But I started to resent myself because I was losing myself. And I was just adapting, right? Like, another example is, we used to like to watch movies together. We're a confinement couple. And then one day I realized, I was like, I don't like watching TV. Why am I watching TV? I don't like this. So I was like, I'm going to go upstairs and do my stuff. But I just realized and he never asks me to adapt to him. Like I said in that example, he literally is, as soon as he notices that I am kind of recalibrating towards him, and I'm like really conflicted about it, he'll be like, hey, he catches me. But I can't just rely on him to do that. This is an inner thing. I have to catch myself. But it sure helps to have somebody who helps with that. And, I gave the example of my mom or relatives. A lot of times I'm not centering a man, but I am centering a woman who is making a decision based off of a man. That is like next level decentering of men. Not just decentering men, but decentering women who have plans that are revolving around a man. Why do I have to cater to this man? Not my man. So it's literally like it's decentering women who are centered on men, or women who don't even know. I'm not saying you. It's not like you either are or you aren't. It's not like you're either a pick me or you're not. All of us are on the pick me spectrum. You will never convince me any differently. There's no escaping this way of thinking, this brainwashing. So we're all like somewhere on the spectrum of trying to unlearn this. Hopefully, well, not some. Some women are just fully committed to it, and they make all of our lives harder. But whether it's a relative, a friend, how many times have you have a girls' night and the girl wants to bring her boyfriend, and you're like, okay, and you just go, no, don't let them bring their boyfriend to your girls' night. No. A friend of mine recently said that she went out, she wanted to see her girlfriends, and they brought their boyfriends, and then they literally just ignored her the whole time. Right? And they went to a place because he wanted to go there. Oh, are you hungry? He's hungry. He wants to eat now. It is perfect that I have a little passive-aggressive dog because it mirrors back to me what I've been trying to unlearn. Use your words, Mose. So a lot of y'all may know what it's like to have, I don't know, maybe a mother or a sister or a mother-in-law or a stepmother or a friend or a grandmother or some woman in your life who has a hard time saying no to men. Like men in general, or just her husband or her boyfriend or whatever, or her son. Toxic boy moms do this. And so part of decentering men is not letting other women bully you into doing stuff to cater to their man. That is that's like the next level of this video game. That's like so much harder because you're like, this feels weird. I don't like this. Why don't I like? And you're like, oh, it's a man behind it. Every time I get frustrated with a woman, not every time, but a lot of times I get frustrated with a woman in my life. And I'm like, why does this feel so frustrating? It's because, it's a man. It's a man's agenda behind this. Even if he's not like pushing her, she's trying to cater to him or cater to not upsetting him or cater to like somehow. I swear this stuff is so deep. So decentering men, it is not just about women who are single. Not at all. Like, I think that a lot of the discourse online is like, all these women are dating and they're centering themselves. This work does not end or even begin when you're single. This work is in like every area of our life. And it's even in our free time. Even if you have not spoken to a man for days or weeks or months or whatever, and you literally live alone, what are you consuming? Are you watching mostly men creators? Are you watching mostly movies written by men, TV shows written by men? Start looking this up. Because I'm telling you, when you go and look up a rom-com and it's written by a man, don't watch it. Please don't watch it. It is going to be propaganda crap. It's just going to be male-centered, which is why I deconstruct rom-coms all the time, because every time I watch them, I'm like, ew, what is this? And then I look it up, IMDb, boom, man. Man wrote it, man directed it, blah. Man executive produced it, it's all men, and then it's starring women. That's why I hated the Queen's Gambit. I was like, why do I hate this girl? Why do I hate this girl? I want to root for her, but I just don't like her. Why? IMDb, written by a man. And then I saw the period blood scene where she was like, and then there's blah. I was like, a man wrote that. How you spend your spare time. What you consume, what you talk about. And I know it's ironic that I'm sitting here talking about men and decentering men is my thing, but it is so like decentering men and literally involves a lot of education about how like seeing how infiltrated they are in our lives on a cellular level. The like, don't wake the baby about men everywhere. Don't let them go into their shame. Don't let them feel bad. And part of that is because we have to survive. We don't want them to like cut off our head and stuff. But this stuff, it's like, it's a lot of work and it's frustrating. But I like to think of it as an adventure. An adventure, a discovery. It's like going to a new planet where this thing that was always supposed to be the most important thing in the world is like less and less. And on that planet that I'm discovering, I find myself. The more I decenter men, the more I find myself. Because so much of the way I think, I didn't put it there. They put it there. I didn't put it there. Where does this come from? I should love how I look. I should not be bothered by wrinkles or any of that crap. But I am. Why am I? I wasn't born with that. So I hope that anyone who follows me who's on this journey, awareness is the first part. And I'm constantly becoming more and more aware. As I take actions and recalibrate my life, I still, every day I become more aware of another a way that I've been indoctrinated. And I'm like, oh, there it is. Again, it's like whack-a-mole. It's there. It's just, wow. Like it pops up. There's these stupid patriarchy moles everywhere. What they are, moles? I don't know, whatever. Groundhog, whatever it is. And so the awareness is always constant. The actions are, the slow change just doesn't overnight. And also finding that community of women doing it too. Because they will reinforce that. It's like a muscle. They reinforce it. They make you feel less crazy. The things that have been normalized for so long, they help you start to be like, ew. Instead of being like like all those sitcoms. Everybody loves Raymond. Why? He's a prick. I hate Raymond. You know what I mean? You start being like, wait a second. Why do I love this man? Why do I love this? That's not funny. That's disturbing. You know what I mean? And it's not fun, but I try to make it fun. Otherwise, who's going to do this? Find your people, find your support. And change comes with intentionality, right? I still catch myself, sometimes I'll catch myself just being like, and then I'm like, whoa, let's change the subject. Okay, we're none of us are doing this perfectly. And one of the best ways to learn is to catch myself and then being like, oh, wow, I actually caught myself. And let's redirect. Instead of being like, God, Melody, why are you talking about men? Shame doesn't really help much. Let me know if you want me to expand on any of the things I just talked about, because this is there's endless Roman numerals to this subject of decentering men. And if you want me to focus on one because I haven't talked about enough, let me know. Thanks for following. Please set the notification so you see my work and gets in the algorithm. Comment, share with your friends, all that stuff. It really helps me build my platform so that I can make better quality work and more work and collectively help other women on this journey too.